Hi guys, I've got a new tool to try out this morning. It's a dimpled die and punch. So I'm using it to make some brackets and stuff for the Zcar. So I'm going to show you how it works. I'm really impressed with it so far. I did buy a cheap, excuse me, 3D printed one off eBay, but I don't know what I was expecting. It was awful. So I've splashed out and bought a really nice one, and it seems to be really effective. And with it being a punch as well, it leaves a very nice edge, basically with no burr, versus the ones you draw out with a hole saw. They obviously leave quite a rough edge. I'll show you how it works. So these are the little pieces you get once it's punched out. So all you have to do with these, what I've been doing is basically using like a 6-7mm drill bit, just popping a hole in, obviously marking up where I want the middle of the hole, put that through, using a step bit to then open it up to 10mm. Show you how this works. So there's two parts to this, well, three parts actually. Bolt, you got the cutter insert, that's the punch, that's the top part of the die that forms the bevel, and then obviously you've got the second part, which is the opposite to that. That's got a threaded hole in it. Punch goes in there, your bolt goes through, threads into the bottom of the die, and obviously your piece of metal goes in between. So that's one hole finished, and that's that one ready to go. 10mm hole in it. With this is 1.5 mild steel. I find that it's quite hard work, to be honest. So I've got it on this large ratchet / breaker bar. Takes a bit of work to get through the punch through the steel. I think if you drilled the hole, which you can do, you just turn the punch the opposite way around so it's a guide instead of a punch. It would be much easier. So I'll show you how this goes. That's just slowly pulling through the material. You can usually hear like a little ping just as it pops through the punch, and then that's when it starts to form the bend on the dimple then. That was the punch. Now this last bit will just form that radius. Good thing about this is it's all in one motion. You're not having to do multiple processes. Okay, that's it. You can use these in like a hydraulic press, but I don't have one, so nut and bolt it is for me. That's the top part. Remove the cutter. Dimple die done. And then I've got the punch piece just sitting in there. Remove that. And that's the dimple die tool. This is a 2-inch diameter one. You can get some slight deformation of the metal, but all I'll do is essentially just tap that straight. So perfect. Thereabouts in there. Obviously, there's multiple benefits to these. A, they look really cool, but B, a bit of lightness. But the main reason you do them is for strength. So now that I've put a 90-degree bend and 2 dimple dies, this piece of 1.5mm steel is seriously strong. Like, I can't bend that at all. So I'll show you what I'm making with it in a few minutes. So this is my little box to raise up the height of the gear selector, just to make it a bit more ergonomic, because when I was in the car it was quite low, it was too far forward, so I'm moving it back and obviously raising it up. So this is my little box that I've made with my new dimple die tool. I am by no means a professional welder, I'm self-taught just by practice and doing bits, but that looks pretty decent. I'm going to grind them back. For grinding back welds, I really like using these because it's a flat surface on like a flat disc. It allows you not to sort of gouge into the metal, and you can get a really nice finish. So that's what I'm going to do now, and I'll show you when it's all grinded and flattened back. There's the finished article. You can see on the inside corners some nice penetration on the welds, which I should, because it's nice thick metal and no issues. I'm pretty pleased with that, to be honest. I think once that's painted up, that'll look the business, and then that's obviously just got this going on the top right. So I think that'll look pretty good. I'm going to just drill through, put some rib nuts in there. I'm obsessed with captive nuts. I can't be doing with like pot rivets and stuff like that. So I think I just need to alleviate some of the stuff inside, just to allow obviously the side to side movement. Obviously slightly offset at the moment. Just need to open that up a little bit on the inside there. So guys, here is the gear linkage. All in now. It's taken a ridiculous amount of work. So I've rerouted the gear linkage cables internally. I've remanufactured the bracket that holds them. I've put a plate on top of the cross member there. I've also plated through there where the old cutout was for the original gear linkage. So I'm just going to show you now. But it's taken so much fettling to get this right. But I've plated that. There's angle brackets on the inside with welded captive nuts too. So if I want to, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 Allen screws. Undo them, that whole box will come off. I can paint it, do whatever I need to do. So that is removable. I was going to weld it to the car, but I decided that's rock solid, and I thought it'd be a good feature to have it removable, just in case I needed to remove it for whatever reason. Once it's welded, obviously it's welded. I'm putting some captive nuts in the top there. It's drilled, ready to go. Unfortunately, I don't have any rib nuts at the moment. I'm waiting for some. I thought I probably could get a nut on the bottom of them, but just for ease, I'm going to put rib nuts in because I like them. I've had to mess around a lot. It was hit, the 2 gear cables were hitting when I was trying to hit reverse. But we're all good now. So first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, reverse. So it's taken a silly amount of work actually. Whilst I had this out, I dismantled it all. I put new grease in, I've degreased all the parts, and there's 2 little locating pins just on the top. I'll show you. One there, and one the other side. And whoever had drilled those 3 holes hadn't put those in the right place. So basically they'd squished those 2 locating pins, pushed the top of that plate up. So I've made another aluminium plate underneath that locates those pins, and the holes are in the right place. And then those bolts obviously go through. So now that's all got those locating sort of dowels that can't twist or anything. That's for the plastic bushing, by the way. So obviously it couldn't twist anyway because you got those, but the plastic bushing inside the house could. So there we go. Internal gear linkage. I've obviously got an end to that as well. Once I've put my seat back in, I did quickly put the seat back in just to mock where I wanted it. So I'll put that back in and see what's what. So now that I've finished my new gear selector system, of course you've got to try and seat and try out the gears. Oh